All right, in this video, I want to talk about how artists and experts brand, market, and sell online without knowing how to do those things, or without, frankly, wanting to do those things. I've got an artist friend of mine. He is extremely good at art. He just hates the business part. He hates the selling part. And frankly, if you're an expert, an artist, a master at something, you need to continue to keep doing that. But in order to keep doing that and being able to keep focusing on that, you've got to be able to make money doing it. Or you'll not be able to do it, right? You'll have to go spend a majority of your time trying to make money. So that's the purpose of this here, to show you exactly how you can do that. Now, the problem is really, you love doing your craft, but you hate marketing, branding, and sales, which makes sense because in order for you to be an artist or an expert that actually is good at something, you have to focus on that thing and be really primary on that, which then you don't know how to do the other thing. But what if you're just a one-man show or one-woman show, but you want to sell your art, but you don't want to mess with all that other stuff? What do? This is the problem, right? It's like, I love doing my craft, but I hate what I have to do to try to get it out there, brand, and sell. So how can you do this? How can you make this actually something that will work and pay you and allow you to focus on your craft and do what you love? Well, the thing that I found is you doing your craft and you doing what you're mastering and what you're an expert at is the thing that's going to brand you. It is the thing that's going to allow you to sell what it is that you're doing, and it's how you do your marketing. So let me explain. The first point I want to make is, what would you rather find more valuable, okay? Or in other words, if you can see the story of how it became the thing or how it became the outcome, that's actually what really creates the value and sells something. So in other words, let's take art for an example. I'm going to use art in this because I think it's more relatable, and a lot of artists have trouble. And I think of artists as anybody that's a craftsman at what they do. Whether it's making tables, I absolutely love art. I do art all the time. It's what keeps me sane throughout what I'm doing. And I love to create. That's why I create videos this way, because I get to create stuff. But what I want to have you think about is this. Let's say that you're looking at a piece of art, and it's a beautiful piece of art, and it's priced nice, it's great. What do you think would sell that piece of art more? Just seeing a couple different angles and snapshots of that piece of art on a nice website? Or actually watching the story of how it became that piece of art? You got to see behind the scenes, how they mixed the paint, how they conceptualized the idea. And so all you would do in this case, what I would do, I would just put my camera on. I would just have a mic on the camera, very similar to what I'm doing now. And because this is what I do, I coach and help people, right? I created my company, MakeOnce.com, and I named it Make Once because if you make something once and you do a great job at it and you document as you make the thing, you can just make it once and sell it 1,000,000 times over. Thank you, internet. But what if while you're creating your art, you just have a camera off in the corner, okay? And you're just recording the sounds. You don't have to look at the camera. You don't have to talk to the camera. You don't have to do anything. But we get to see the story of how it is that you became this thing. It doesn't matter if you're a chiropractor. Just put the camera over in the corner and show us you being an expert, you being an artist, a craftsman, you being a master at what you do. That is how you do that. What do you do with it afterwards? You just upload it. You just upload it and you give them a direction to go. So in the profile, you have a link to your website where they can buy the thing or learn more about the thing. So seeing the story of how it became the outcome, you can market yourself this way. Your branding will happen because they'll see that you're actually good at what you do. It's not just a bunch of bullcrap, right? And that's what actually sells it. Because see, selling is just another word for helping somebody make a decision about something that can change their life in whatever fashion that is. And marketing is just a fancy word for educating my customer on how I give them the outcome or help them solve their problem. And branding is the thing that happens when these two things are happening simultaneously and people get to see what you're about and the flavor and style that you come across as you educate and help people make decisions that change their life. Does that make sense? So when you just show us what you do to get this incredible outcome that you can create as an expert or as an artist or a master at something, you're actually doing the best branding, marketing, and selling. All right? And because it's video, we can just put it online and reach more people. So the next thing is when you brand, market, and sell all at the same time, this saves you time. So by just recording what you do and you becoming the content as you do the art, as you create the art, and as you're actually mastering the thing and becoming more of that, you're simultaneously doing all these things at once, which saves you time. So what's really interesting about this is you hear people like Alex Hormozy and several other names that are really rising up in the online business, online marketing space. And one of the things that they say all the time that I love, which fits right into what we're talking about here, is kind of in the essence of give away all the secrets and sell the implementation. Well, how does that work with art, Mike? You know, I worked for many, many years with just martial arts business owners. And so many of them would come on our calls inside of our we have a private community. It's kind of like a mastermind, if you will, where we get on weekly calls and they have like a course area back there. And then we get these weekly calls, right? And then there's like a community as well. So we get to interact with each other as we're learning the information to, get the thing. And then we can also get on calls. In these calls, a lot of them would never share what it is that they do because they said, well, I don't want to give away my secrets because then, people won't come to me or they can do it themselves or whatever. Okay. Now, not all of them said this, just some of them. A lot of artists are the same way. Okay. I know this personally, just doing art, and my friend who's an artist, a remarkable artist, he kind of has some of those same feelings. Like he won't even show me his art because it could get copied or he's making like collections of it, which I understand. But it's one thing to, LeBron James can show me how to do what he does, but I can't do what he does because he's an artist, he's an expert, he's a master at what he does. He's got like evolved time, layers and layers of mechanics on top of mechanics to be that person. There's a natural mix of talent in there. So when you show somebody your process or your method, it actually causes you to become better and evolves you. And it really separates the, as they say, men from the boys or the women from the girls or whatever, right? So in this way, when you get rid of this idea that, oh, if I share all my secrets, people won't buy from me, it's actually the complete opposite. It actually brings a level of respect. It actually brings a level of like, damn, that person is legit and that is awesome. And it inspires them. And then the other people that are in some way apprenticing off of you by trying to model you, like if I was going to try to be the best basketball player, I would find the best basketball player and I would model everything that they do. And in doing that, I would learn how to be really good, but in my own right. It would be me being a better version of me at that game, okay? Which many of you should do as well. It's like Tony Robbins talks about all the time. Find the best there is, model that, and in doing that, you learn the skill, you apprentice in a way, and then you actually become the version that you are yourself, your own unique style, but you've got a guidepost, you've got something to actually really give you those steps to take to get you there quicker. It takes, time off of your learning curve and, saves you a ton of money, which is why we do what we do to help artists, experts, coaches, consultants, get to do what they love to do all the time without having to wait 10 years to figure out how to do that. Because we've already figured out how to do that and we just show you, that way you get to do what you love. Make sense? When you brand, market, and sell all at once by just showing us what it is that you do to get this outcome, You're going to save so much time. You're going to be the best at marketing, and you're not even going to feel like you're marketing or doing marketing. You're going to sell so much stuff because we see that it's actually being built. It's actually you doing the thing. It's not some manufacturing thing. And then you're building a brand by how you do the thing. Like how I'm doing this, how I cut out a piece of like red folder paper and stick a magnet to the back, and I do my little doodles and whatever. This is like the style and brand of it all, okay? All right. Third, it creates more value, profit, and craftsmanship. Now, how does it do that? Well, it creates more value because we see it's one of a kind. When you create that art piece and we watch you create it and the story behind how you created it, it's one of a kind. This increases the value, which allows you to sell it for more and earn more profit, because now you have people fighting for that piece because they see what it is. And this can be in any shape or form. It's not just creating art in the sense of like images or tables or just physical things like that, where you're actually using paint and different types of tools and stuff like that to create. But it can also be within your information business, or how you create and do what it is that you do at an expert master level. When we actually get to see the thing, it creates way more value, way more profit, and then the craftsmanship gets better, just because you know that you're being witnessed, and you know that you want, if you're like me, I want to create something nice. I want to do nice because that's a reflection of me. And it's a reflection of my thinking, and it's a reflection of the value that I can become, right? Like Albert Einstein said, become a person of value. Well, in order for me to become a person of value, I want to increase my craftsmanship. That increases my value, which allows me to earn more profit, which allows me to invest back into my craftsmanship, which allows me to generate more value. One doesn't live without the other. So by doing this, by showing us the story of how you get to the outcome, we actually earn more, we have more value and profit, and the craftsmanship increases, okay? Again, this is so simple as to, I tell like the martial arts business owners all the time, and we don't work with just those people anymore, because we had so many other companies and other craftsmen and other artists and other people coming to us saying, hey, can you show us how to do this too? And in doing that, what was so interesting is by showing them, hey, and as I said to the martial artist, hey, just put a video up and show us how you teach your students, or how your black belts and instructors teach your students. That's what sells the parent. As a parent seeing, wow, look how they teach the discipline. Look how they teach the self-defense. Look how they teach these properties and these different character traits and these different confidence skills. And look how they do that. I want my child to be in that. And you don't ever even have to look at the camera. Look how that chiropractor performs those things. Look how that, pain management company does those things. Look how that company delivers their equipment. Look how that person creates that art. Look how that's the thing that makes this thing sell without having to sell it. Like, I love what Gary Vee says all the time. He goes, selling is bad marketing. If you have to sell, it's because your marketing sucks. And I love what Naval Ravikant says. He's like, the only reason you sell is because you don't know how to market. And the only reason you market is because you don't know how to create a great product. So it all really feeds into this, right? Okay. If you have questions about any of these things or comments or whatever, just go ahead down below and put those down there. I always answer those. I love looking at those. It actually helps me create more of this type of stuff, all right? So it also, when you're uploading to YouTube, which is where I would suggest you do this, create the long form content, and then you can take certain segments. I actually did a video yesterday that talks about how to do that, okay? But you can take that long form content and you can cut it up into pieces, okay? And those little pieces then you can stick out there on TikTok, you can stick out there on Instagram Reels, you can stick out there on YouTube Shorts. And those act as like breadcrumbs or little ads that drive people to your long form, and then your long form drives people into a community, and then you turn your community into your customers, and then your customers will bring you more customers. It's this beautiful flywheel, as I call it, inside of our Make Once program. We've got this thing called Build Lab, where I've got a 6-pillar course back there, and then we get on calls twice a week, and then we have a community back there. And we talk about these free group funnels where as people are watching your stuff, they can actually join a free community and get a demonstration or a way to see the story of how you do the outcome. And then the top 1% of those people would buy your art piece or buy your training material or buy your whatever your company drives as an outcome or the problem that you solve. And so what's beautiful about this is you don't have to depend on advertising, because the value that you're driving out into the marketplace then brings people to you. It attracts them to you. And then they start seeing how you do what you do, which then builds a brand. And then people start to come together in a community because you'll inspire a lot of people. By showing people what you do inspires them, then they can go do it, right? And they bring more people to you because they'll share to their friends. And then out of that, you'll see the top 1% of that whole thing happening there become your customers. So by putting out the long form content on the internet, you start building a community, an attraction, and then it grows your channel. And because YouTube will monetize off of your channel, that monetization then, by you just doing what you love to do, without focusing on, marketing, branding, and sales, just you recording and documenting what you do, your channel grows, you build a community. By growing your channel in people watching what you do that are interested in what you do, you start to monetize, which allows you to invest the monetization back into you having a better craftsmanship, back into you being able to maybe upgrade your camera equipment or your microphone equipment. Not because you got to talk to the thing, but we like to hear you doing stuff on the board and grinding on stuff, doing the thing. We like sound effects. We like to have more of our nervous system activated when we interact with something. It really turns us on as humans. So you can invest into your craftsmanship, get better tools, get better teammates. In my business, and on my YouTube channel, I've had to remove a lot of things and just focus on the core pillars of my business, which is how do you get traffic? How do you convert the traffic using funnels and things like that? How do you create a powerful product that you can sell online? And then how do you build a team that helps you scale and create a better product, get more traffic, convert those customers, and help those customers? So I just focus on those 4 things. Your channel is going to do the same thing. Within what you do, there's these pillars that you will find appearing that are kind of like the pillar, the substrate, the structure or the foundation that always has to, no matter what, it's like in any business, you got to have traffic or eyeballs. You've got to have a way to convert that traffic. And then you've got to have a great product. And the great product in and of itself allows you to get traffic and convert. And then if you get a team, because you can't do this all yourself, your team helps you create all of these other pieces and parts better, right? So it's just that always shows up. It's always the thing. And so that's what I'm going to focus on teaching on my YouTube channel. Maybe if you're an artist, you just literally are showing all the time everything that you create. There's a guy that I see all the time. He always goes, sha-sha, and he has like spray paint. And dude is awesome. Like he'll tape things off. He'll put these bowls over it and like, whoosh, whoosh, and it's amazing. But he is selling so much art. It is so awesome. People are like, oh, I want one of these. And he's got a community. People are coming to him. But this is the thing, right? You create the value by showing the story of how you get the outcome. And then by doing that, you start to attract people. People that are attracted to the same thing typically have things in common, which would be that thing. So it starts to build a community. Your community then teaches you more of what you need to do to be a better craftsman. So this is a really extra bonus piece here. You always know what to do. And then you are turning your community into customers, and you don't need to use advertising. Think about this. When you advertise, you're interrupting people. And at scale and over time, that just is a compounding of you being an interrupter, and not a disruptor, that's something different, but an interrupter. Most people don't enjoy ads. And so if you're linked to that person, being the person that always is doing that, it compounds in a way that's like anti-goodwill, okay? But if you're the person that is always putting out goodwill, you're always putting out valuable things just to help people, kind of like I'm doing here in this video, what happens then is over time, you compound goodwill, you compound give, and then reciprocity takes place. And reciprocity is probably the most powerful marketing tool on the planet. So, and it's not even thought of as a marketing tool. And when I say the word marketing from now on, I want you to replace the word marketing with education. It's a powerful education tool. It's a powerful way to help people make decisions about things that can help them improve their life, and it helps people understand why you exist, who you are, and what you're about. It's a really powerful thing. So by building a community, by sharing the story of what it is that you do to get the outcome, this simultaneously brand markets and sells your thing without you having to focus on branding, marketing, and selling. It's just you focusing on what it is that you do really well and sharing that with the world. Teach a man to fish, show people about these things. Why would you keep that to yourself? You're building a community, you're attracting the perfect ideal customer, and then this grows your platform that you're sharing on. I suggest YouTube, and then sprinkle the short form of your long form on the other platforms to bring them into the long form, which brings them into the community. Monetize that, reinvest back into the business in your attraction stuff, your tools, okay, which would be the product, your conversion process, which would be your, let's say, website, your funnels, and then your team to help you do better at sharing. Then what happens here is, by default, doing these things, you create a barrier of entry, which now protects your brand and your product, because that piece of art that you made, no matter what it is, whether it's actually a, like I said, physical art piece, table, painting, whatever, piece of equipment, software, service, it doesn't matter, frankly. You can consider that your product or brand. Whatever it is that you're creating by sharing with us what you do, now you can't go out and replicate community and culture in the exact same way. It's something that lives on and with it's its own thing. It's like there's no two trees that are the same, there's no two people that are the same, there's no two eggs that are the same. It becomes something that is very, very in a self-selected, like, I mean, it's very evolutionarily set here. Like, it's a beautiful thing. What happens here is it becomes this born thing that cannot be replicated because it came in such a natural selection way that now you've created this massive barrier of entry. So it protects your brand without having to protect your brand. And it protects your product without having to protect your product. And the key element to this whole thing is being a master, an expert, an artist at what it is that you do, and just sharing the story of how you get to your outcome and why you get to your outcome. So I hope this helps you. And what I want you to do is I want you to focus on just sharing what it is that you do and having a clear pathway for people that want to know more, get more, be more involved with you. Have a clear pathway for them to go do that, because that's really the key here is like, man, I love that stuff. How do I get it, right? And so one thing that's going to help you the best to do that is going to be this video right here.